Okay, on 12 here, these are about parabolas and transformations and how they shift. And the first one wants to know which one of these makes the widest parabola. Well, I can tell you this. The larger the number is, the skinnier it is, and the smaller it is, the wider it is. So what I'm looking for is the smallest number up here, and all these are in fraction form. Now, I know this by looking at it. 2/3 is bigger than 1/8, so I know that 1/8 is smaller. And 2/10 is the same as 1/5, but 1/8 is smaller than 1/5. And 1/8 is smaller than 4/3, so I know the answer is G, just right here. But if not, what I could do is go simply to my calculator, and in my y equals button, I would do this. I would always put the fraction parts in parentheses. 2 divided by 3, parentheses, and then x squared. Go down in y2. I'm going to do the parentheses. I'm going to do 1 divided by 8, parentheses, x squared. Let's go down and put the third one in. Parentheses, 2 divided by 10, parentheses, x squared. And then lastly, parentheses, 4 divided by 3, close parentheses, x squared. And as I watch these, pay very close attention. The first choice is F, so I want to see which of these makes the widest parabola. So let's graph. Here comes the first one. There's the second one, it's a little wider. The third one's not as wide as the second. And the fourth one's not as wide as the second. The second was the one that was the widest, so the correct answer to this one is letter G. So letter G was the correct answer to this particular one. All right. So we know that one was G. All right, now then let's go down and look at our next particular problem right there. It's right underneath of it. As you can see, which of the following transforms a parent graph y equals squared by shifting it 1 step to the right and 3 steps up? Now remember, right will be the horizontal liar. We tend to think of right being this way, 3, a plus 3, but because it's a horizontal liar, it will actually be a minus 3, and it will be in parentheses with the x, which I know will be squared. And the 3 steps up is just a plus 3. Actually, I messed this up. It should only be plus what? 1 step to the right. It's good to highlight that. I would have caught it when I got over here and saw 1s and 3s. So it shouldn't be x minus 3, but x minus 1 plus 3, which is the answer of B. But once again, kind of to stay with the format here in this particular problem, we can go back to our calculator and do the following. Just to make sure right there. So let's go to our y equals button. Let's clear everything out of all of these here. We don't need to make sure that we have anything else in there we're not supposed to. So arrow back up here to 1. And in 1, I'm simply going to put x squared. And I might want to graph it. That's what it looks like. Okay, back to my y equals. And I can test out all the problems, but because I already know this particular answer, I'm looking for one that moves to the right 1 and 3 steps up. So let's try this 1b that I said was right. So I'm going to go a parentheses, x minus 1, close parentheses, squared, plus 3, and let's graph it. And did it move right 1 and up 3? It sure looks like it did. So that is the correct answer to that particular problem right there. All right, so we'll clear that out of there. And let's look at our next problem that we have in this particular section. Oh, domain and range. Well, looky here what we got. We need to erase some of the stuff right here so we can look at it. What is the domain of this particular graph? Well, what would happen, I guess we'll take it back in a second, if we do a minus 3 on the outside. Notice, is that minus 3 in parentheses? It is not. So what it would do is the following. Now, all it would do is take this very same graph and move each of the dots down 3. So that means we'd go over here, 1, 2, 3, look like that, 1, 2, 3, and it would look something like that. It'd be this nice red part right there. Well, did the domain, which are the X letters, change any at all? And if you happen to be looking at that right there, I can tell you this. X is over here at -5 right there, and it goes all the way over here, goes to 8. So guess what my domain is -5 through 8. Now, this next problem is going to be a little bit tricky. It's going to be this very same graph, but it wants to know, and you can't see it, I want to roll it up there, what is the range of the graph? It's the same problem. Well, the range simply goes from where? This new graph, what's the lowest point? -2, and the highest point is 1, 2, 3, 4. So now remember that, because as I roll the screen up, that graph's going to disappear so that we can see the problem. There we go, 20. What is the range of the new graph? Well, you can't see it on the pictures, you have it on your page. And if you drew that line like I did, notice the range is the y values. It was down at -2, and it went all the way up to 4, and it is included in the answer. So that particular answer is letter F. Letter F, for the range, you had domain, and then you had range. For that particular deal for the transformation, that still dealt with transformations. And I think there was one more that dealt with transformations. Here we go. It's kind of hard to see all the answers. There are the answers. Here's the graph. It's -x² minus 4. Let me put the answers on there. And the graph is -x² minus 4. Or how to write that down. So the x was -x² minus 4. Okay. And the particular question for this one is this. What is the domain and the range? This graph was not particularly shifted. Well, first off, x's can be anything. So the domains are going to be -infinity to infinity, which is what it is on all of them, so it doesn't eliminate the choices any at all. The other thing that we want to notice is this. The range is at what? -4 is the highest value. But you have to be careful. That's the highest, so it has to be on the right when we have -infinity as the lowest value. Infinities are always parentheses. Then the only question is, can it equal -4 or not? And it does touch that point, so it makes it a bracket, which will make the correct answer here letter H. This is a very common problem because people want to write the answer like this. It doesn't even go to positive infinity. Or they'll do it like this. I mean, you have to make sure to get it in the right answer. That one right there is, none of the others are right. Even the -infinity should be a big particular help for that. Okay? So those are the questions about transformations and graphs and domain and range.